We're going to use QGIS to create a map and to add an inset in the map and lots of interesting details to make a really professional looking map. So let's start. So here we have the QGIS window. We don't have any project that is open. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to expand this XYZ tile item in the browser section of the window. I'm going to double click on OpenStreetMap. OpenStreetMap, or OSM, is a open database of the whole world and its streets, plus some other elements like buildings and other geographical features, lots of different features. Once we've done that, we've seen this global map here. We don't want the whole globe here. We're going to go to Pittsburgh. We're going to type OSM space and an address in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to type 331 South Highland Avenue, comma, Pittsburgh, comma, PA. And then you have to click a space or type a space. And if it finds the address, it's going to show it here. I'm going to double click it there. Let's zoom out a little bit here. I want to go into downtown Pittsburgh and showing the point here where the Allegheny, Monongahela, and Ohio River, and the Ohio River is born. And let's zoom in a little bit more, no, something like that probably. Okay, that's going to be my base map. So I'm going to here, I'm going to start creating my map. I'm going to say new print layout. I'm going to call this Pittsburgh maybe point. Once I do that, I get this white rectangle where I can add my map. So I'm going to add the map that I just created on the other place, on the main window. Create a rectangle there, and my map appears there. Notice that here you can do lots of things with your map. I can add a frame. So now my map has a frame. I'm going to click it here. I don't like that frame, so I'm going to uncheck this one. You can also change the scale here. Notice that here I can zoom out by adding a 0, but I don't want to do that. Actually, I'm interested in that view. Okay, so we're going to leave that map there. Let's lock the layer so that any changes don't change. Any changes that any features that we change that do not change this layer. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the main window. And let's zoom in into some part of here, maybe like that, maybe one more. Let's look at this map here of just a point. And we're gonna go back to our layout, and we're gonna add another map on top of our original map. Let's say something like that. That's gonna be our second map. And whatever we had in the main window now is copied here, but we have zoom in, is a zoom in version. Maybe we can zoom in a little more. Maybe if we do that, let's see. Make it bigger, it will make it look better. It's probably that's too big. Okay, let's do something like that. And a nice feature about a nice feature that QGIS has is that we can actually highlight which part of the main map or base map, which is map 1, the one in the back, is highlighted in map 2. So to do that, we click on map 1 right here on our list of maps. Then we go to scroll down to where it says overview. We're going to add our overview to map 1. We're going to click on add. It says overview 1, and the overview comes from whatever we're highlighting. Oops, excuse me, I want to select map 1 here in the back. Overview, I want to add map, and the map frame is the one that comes from map 2. So make sure that you have selected map 1 here on the left. I had it selected only on the top. It has to be selected on the left so that you can add the overview. So now actually the section of the map that we have in our inset is highlighted here. Now it's hard to see the inset, so let's go back to our inset, which is map 2, and which is map 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to map 2, and we're going to add a frame to this one. And the frame is over here. There you go. So now we have a nice frame on map 2. What else? Let's see. There's a few things that this map is missing. It's missing direction, so it's missing scale. And let's add some grid lines following the tutorial from QGIS. I'm gonna go to map 1, click on map 1. And what I'm gonna do here is, oops, again, I did that. I'm gonna select map 1 and I'm going to, the coordinate system that I want to use, I'm gonna use I'll change the default coordinate system that comes with this one. I wanna use one in degrees, which is a lot easier to understand for longitude and latitude. And in order to let me look at the tutorial, we need to put in the right coordinate system that we want to use for degrees. And if I'm not mistaken, that is 4326. So we're not going to use the coordinate reference system from the project, but we want to use 4326, which is degrees. Oops. Okay. 4326, or this one, its-qgis-basic-map. I'm going to select that one. So notice that now it says CRS 4326, which is degrees for longitude and latitude. Once I've done that, I can go down to and add a grid to my map. So I'm going to add a grid. I'll say plus, and we're going to modify the grid. Notice that there's no grid here in the map, so we need the CRS that it's going to use. We're going to use the 4326 that we just selected. And the interval is going to be in degrees. So let's go, it's probably 0.01 what we need there. There you go. So each of these lines is 0.01 degree, maybe. Yeah, that's good. And let's do 0.01 for the other ones here as well. Okay, let's change those lines. They're like quite dark. So for the line style, let's change that to maybe something like this. It's hard to see. That's better. So let's use that. We also want to add the actual numbers or the degrees there. So I believe that is down here. Let me see. Level grid, frame, all of this is grid, draw coordinates. So we actually want to draw the coordinates of the map. So there they are. We want to show with degrees, so decimal with suffix. So this is in degrees. They're outside the map and like overflowing. And so let's put them inside our frame. So the left ones are going to go inside the frame. The right ones are also going to go inside the frame. The top and left are easier because they are actually with a white background, so they're easier to read. You can also change the direction where this is pointing, the direction of the text. With the font, let's make it a little bit larger so that it's a little bit easier to read, maybe. Maybe we could use a size of 14. There's enough room maybe for a 14. No, definitely not. That's 40. So let's say 14 point. Yeah, that's a lot easier to read. Okay, so what else do we need here? I think we're all set. There's other things that you can change, the opacity and so on. We're not going to play with those. We're going to go back here. So we still need a few things. We need an arrow that points north. So let's go to our base map, to map here. We're going to add an item. We're going to add a picture. So we need to add a picture. If I'm not mistaken, we're going to put it, let's say, here for our north direction. And I think that it's arrows that we want. Yeah, I like the arrows one. I like this one. Now this is better. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one's nice. I'm going to use this one to point to the north. So I'm going to leave it there. We also need a scale. So we're going to go here and I'm going to say add item scale bar. And we're going to put it right there. So we have a scale for our map as well. That's easier to see. We put it maybe on the water. So that's scale for our map. Let's add a title. So we're going to say add item, add label. I'm going to put it maybe here. Let's change the text to Pittsburgh Point State Park. I'll say Pittsburgh, PA, Point State Park. We'll need to change the font size actually larger. Let's see, Let's change it to something maybe like maybe a 26, maybe a 28. Let's make it bold so that it's like that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, let's maybe center this a little bit so it looks nicer. Something like that. There you go. So we have a nice professional looking map. As you may imagine, GIS can do a lot more than just draw maps. We can add data to the map. We can analyze the data. We can compute area, surfaces, locations. There's lots of things that can be done that can imagine with the GIS. So, but for now, let's see how we actually export this. So I'll say layout. Notice that I can save the layout, or maybe I can export it. And I'm going to export it as, if I want to put it in Word so that it looks nice, I'm going to export it as an SVG. And I'm going to call this, this map includes an overview which is not linked to the map. Oh, okay. So we need to fix that. Oops. I want to include the overview in the map. 1 second. So the problem is that when I created the overview, apparently I also created an overview for map 2, and it's telling me that there's an error there. So I went to map 2, and I'm gonna click this overview here that is not linked to anything. I'm gonna uncheck it, and that should do it. So let's go to layout, export SVG. I'll say close. These are just messages there that are, and let's export as Pittsburgh Point. Let's call it Pittsburgh Point SVG. That's fine. And click export it here. Let's just save it. It's gonna take a couple of seconds. It's gonna export our SVG map, and we're going to import it into Word. So let's start Word, so you can see it there. Let's start Word. I'm gonna create a blank document. I'm gonna say insert picture from this device. It's in that downloads directory, if I'm not mistaken. Pittsburgh Point. And there you go. We have our map nicely pasted into Word. And if you grow this map or shrink this map, since that if it's an SVG, it's going to maintain the resolution really nicely. And that's it. That's how you create a basic map with QGIS.